In my restless dreams, I see that town.
In my case, it was more a mild hibernation, but I also see that town. And it is in pretty pristine, glorious 4K. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a video. I had to go with that vintage intro, because today we are talking about Silent Hill 2 Remake. These trailers clearly prove that Bloober Team listened to feedback and they show the importance of constructive criticism. There is still a major point that I am worried about, since Bloober Team has the subtlety of a sledgehammer to the face. We will talk about that later in the video, and of course there will be a few spoilers in this. So if you never played Silent Hill 2, please go play it when you can and don't watch this video. First, let's start with the positives. I loved how much exploration you can do, which adds a very needed layer to the game, since the original town does feel pretty empty despite all the cool, unique locations that we could have visited. This time, we can actually visit them. This is the best part of Silent Hill Downpour, and I'm very happy to see it here, since it adds to the survival horror element of searching the areas for items, precious items, because we can clearly see that they are scarce, as they should be. You go explore, you do your little exploration, you run the risk of using more resources than the ones you get, and that is a very good thing, because it adds a factor of risk and reward. In the original game, you would get an absurd amount of ammo even if you barely did any searching around, and it seems like they are altering that to reward exploration. The other side to this whole exploration is the potential secondary puzzles that I absolutely love. Unless we are talking about the Shakespeare one, but we don't talk about that one. I cannot speak English when I talk about that stupid Shakespeare puzzle that took me 50 minutes to complete. It's bread. It's bread. It's lovely bread. They can tie the puzzles to areas we know. They can make us backtrack a little, explore the town in a more dynamic way. They can add previously locked rooms with Easter eggs in them, like that awesome one with the birthday party in Silent Hill Downpour. I think that this is an amazing fit if they do it that way. Now, all of these potential side activities will lead to a longer completion time, which I don't mind at all, and it goes along with the rumor that if you want to explore everything, you should expect around 15 hours to complete the game. Or if you are like me, more like 20, because I love looking at every single nook and cranny of the map. So, totally not because I get lost, Totally not because of that reason. This does raise the potential issue of ruining the pacing of the original game, but considering how many memorable moments Silent Hill 2 actually has, I think that prolonging the time between one event and the other will actually make the experience more enjoyable, not only to longtime fans that want as much quality time with the setting and characters we love, but also the new fans, since a game being 15 hours nowadays is seen as short, so I don't believe it will be an issue. Now, talking about the visuals, they are tremendous, besides a few graphical glitches here and there, mainly around James' head. There's like this weird blurring effect, like some very cranked up motion blur. I imagine that's FSR2 or FSR3, I don't know which technology they are using, but it did look pretty rough. And there's also some ugly rough edges on the water puddle reflections, but I imagine that it also has to do with FSR. The facial animations were clearly calibrated to feel more natural, the environments look stunning, the atmosphere is breathtaking, because not only did they make the locations look great, but they also constructed this incredible sound design that complements the visuals so well. It's really impeccable. Now, I know that the grimy, disgusting, filthy look of the original combined with the CRT technology of the time on those tiny TVs made up for an experience that cannot be replicated or surpassed. But what I saw from this gameplay is a very good try to create something unique that is very reminiscent of the original game, but with a modern twist. Another big positive point is the faithfulness to the original. We are getting the same locations, expanded and complexified with a bunch of little references to the original if you look attentively, with new pathways that make sense. The character redesigns look great too, and I'm glad to see that they continuously worked on them, improving them, making them similar to the original but still with their own identity. And boy, that Eddie! That Eddie redesign is tremendous. I loved it. With an amazing line delivery as well, and that maniacal laugh. That smile, that little gap on his teeth, alongside those dead eyes of his.
You should see your face, Jane.
It put a massive smile on my face. I was so happy to see that. It's amazing. They nailed him. I'm so happy to see how it turned out. We are getting almost the same exact dialogue lines recreated in a slightly different way, but very akin to the original. Now, there are a few exceptions, mainly Maria.
I'm not your Mary.
But we will get there. We will get there. I also loved how dark the game looks, which was a worry of mine, but it has been completely put away. You can feel the original design looking back at you like you're replaying it, just from a different perspective. It's lovely to see all of the corridors and the iconic rooms in the apartment complex. The moth room looks exactly as I expected. The clock room, the silly little reaction that James has to the scream in the corridor, it feels so right, it's so nice, it's so nostalgic, it's lovely. And lastly, the combat. It actually looks fine now. They clearly improved it. They made it feel heavier. They added a few variations to the animations of the melee attacks. They polished the movements. They added a few frames of animation between James not doing anything and actually doing the blow, which adds a lot to the fluidity of the scene. Also, you can hear James' pain and frustration when he hits the enemies. James is just so annoyed at what he has to do. You can also see that he is absolutely awful with the recoil of the guns. He doesn't know how to shoot, which is a lovely touch, since he's just a normal citizen and not Leon Scott Kennedy, especially not Leon Scott Kennedy from Wish. He's not. He's James Sunderland, and he's not Leon Scott Kennedy. So it fits extremely well. I have no complaints about it, really. It looks janky, but that's what I expected from it. And honestly, it gives it some charm, that I know I will appreciate, and I just hope won't annoy the newcomers to the series. Now, regarding the potential issue with this remake, how they will handle the tone and severity of the subjects in this game. I am worried that Maria tried to interpolate Laura when she ran away, even if Laura did not run away because of Maria. In the original, Maria never wants to be near the others because of who she is. Now, it's all about context, of course, and they can take some liberties, but I'm still worried, because it's an important part of what makes Silent Hill 2 be Silent Hill 2. I'm also very worried about how they will handle Angela's tragic backstory, since that subject is so incredibly complicated to talk about. Now, the elephant in the room from the story trailer. And no, not that room. No, get out of here, Henry. Maria's performance and overall demeanor. This one is tricky to talk about since we don't have the context of the scene. What do they want to do, Do they intend to evolve Maria's personality throughout the game at a different pace than the original did? Do they intend to explore different sides of Maria's personality? Because in the original, Maria goes from very flirtatious to being very worried about Laura to having a complete mental breakdown and that lovely scene. You know the one. Anyway, what do you mean anyway? Yeah, we Yeah, we I had to. And then we go to this scene right after what happens in the elevator, where she's extremely confusing to James, but you feel like she's just messing around with him in a very messed up way, but still. In this new scene, she is extremely cold and almost like stoic, which is James' personality, not Maria. I showed this trailer to that very special friend of mine. You know who you are. It's been a while since I mentioned you, but still, here we are. Old Abbott Die Hard. What am I talking about? But either way, I showed her the story trailer, and she told me that Maria is terrifying. She doesn't look human. That what she is saying is not reflected in her face, in her expression. It's like she's wearing a mask, which made me think that they might legit alter how Maria acts. Which I don't know how to feel about. She wants to be with James at all costs. She was born from a wish. She's manifested by the town's powers because of what James desires. But Maria learns as the game goes on. She unlocks the memories that Mary had. That's why she knows who Laura is and why she knows about the tape in the first place. And why she knows who James is. So to see Maria almost like try to Stockholm Syndrome James, like she's trying to trap him in her dead gaze, in her monotone voice. It's complicated to give an opinion without playing it, It is definitely a strong departure from the original, but if applied correctly, it might actually work. No references to Todd Howard, please. No editor, stop. Oh wait, I'm the editor. We really gotta play or watch the game first to reach a conclusion or some sort of consensus, because this is a tremendous departure from the original game, if it goes that way. Now, with all of that said, I am very hyped to experience this game now, even more than before. I don't know if it will be the OG Silent Hill 2 recreated in every single way, but from what we saw, it appears to be at least a very interesting version of Silent Hill 2 that can coexist with the original one. Now we just gotta wait for Konami to re-release the original for modern platforms. Isn't that right, Konami? Hurry up! But yeah, those are my thoughts on the remake. What are yours? Did these trailers make you more excited for the game, or are you still very worried about the direction Bloober Team is taking? Please leave it down in the comment section below. Either way, thank you very much for watching. Hope you have a lovely day, and like always, be good people.